Hello, Gestaltung und Darstellung students. This is lesson 10. In this lesson, we're going to be creating an InDesign booklet layout. And we're going to be layouting all of our images that we've made so far into one booklet, into one A3 booklet. So before you start, the first thing to do is to collect all of your media together that you've made, all the images, JPEGs and PDFs, and put them into one folder to make it easier to place them in InDesign. So first you need to create a folder with all of this media. I've created a folder, I've got a filing system for all the lessons. Today's lesson is number 10. I made a folder called InDesign. Within the InDesign folder, I made another folder called Media. And within that, I've separated two further folders. One called Images, which has all of my images with a name. So I've got my model photos, my front cover, all my 1 to 200 macro scale drawings, and all of my 1 to 1 drawings, micro scale. So it's nice and easy for me to find those when I want to place them. And I've made another sub-document, which is my text document, which is here. Here is just a nice bit of Latin. Just as a space filler, you will obviously have to write meaningful words in your document, but this is just to explain. So that's just keeping your files organized and in the right place. So we're going to begin by opening up InDesign, and we're going to create a new document. So File, New Document, or shortcut Command N. There are some presets saved in InDesign which are useful. So come to your presets and print. View all presets, and there should be one saying A3. And the preset here is set to portrait, so we've got to make that landscape. And normally when you're creating a book, you want facing pages, but actually in this case we're just going to use single pages, and then in your print options you're going to print double-sided. So that's how we're going to do it. This is the amount of pages. We want 10. Some of you might need more, some of you might need less, but I recommend using 10, roughly. And then it's going to ask you for your getter size. So this is the border in which you're working within. So I'm going to make one that's 15 millimeters. It's quite large. And then the same size for the margins. I've got link on, which snaps everything to the same measurement. And yeah, don't worry about bleed and slug. That's not necessary. That's only if you're doing print formatting for books and things, so don't worry about that. Preview's on, and it'll just show you what your document's going to look like. You can give it a name now. Call it today's date. We'll just call this GED booklet. And create. There we go. And now it's made me a booklet with 10 pages with all my presets and my margins there. Okay. So the next thing we've got to do is separate our layers. So like in Photoshop, you have layers in InDesign. We're going to make our first layer called Image. Okay. And I'm going to make a second layer called Text. Okay. And then come back to your pages. In InDesign, this is very important. This is something that helps keep your pages clean and helps organize your pages. there's a thing called master pages, and they appear above. These are like your template layouts for each page. So here are all your pages, and here are your master pages separated by this line here. Now in our master pages, we're going to apply certain master pages to certain pages to give default layouts. So we're going to use master A. We're going to double click master A, and we're going to rename master A by right clicking on the page and coming to master page, master options. Leave the prefix as A and just rename it image based on number of pages. Well, okay. And now create this is an image frame. So we want this actually to be on every page, and we want it exactly the size of, okay, here's another thing. Now we're working on two separate layers. Very, very important. The layer that you're working on, make sure you have the pen tool on, and just lock the layer that you're not working on. So when you're working in your master, and we create an image, we create an object, it's going to be on our image layer. So drag a frame, the size and proportion of A3, full size. That's our first master. I'm going to make a new master. This is also important. So you've got to base the master on the previous master. So here is, I'm going to base it on image master A. And this means that master B will also, you can see master A on master B, you can see all the masters on the previous master. It will make sense later. I know it doesn't sound very clear right now. And we're going to label this master page numbers. Page numbers. Okay. We're going to make a new master based on master B. We're going to call this one page headers. Headers means title in English. Okay. And one more master. Master. I'm going to call this one page title. You probably don't need to use this many masters for such a small document, but it's just to get you used to understanding how masters work, which really do save you. Okay, so now when we come back to our pages, we can see that master A, which is the first one we created with the image, you see a text box on every single page. What we want to do now is we want to see page numbers on every page except for our first page. So we're going to come to our B master by double-clicking B page numbers. And we're going to create a page number that will appear on every page except the first. So I'm going to make a text box. I like to use Helvetica Neuro Light, but use whatever you like. Just simply call it A. Oh, I think it's frozen. Oh no, we're back in business. Make it, yeah, I think 18 should be fine. Size 18. And then just crop it, move it to the center or move it to the side of your document, however you wish your page number to be shown. I'm going to keep mine in the center, but place yours wherever you like. And then while you're in your master page, page B, we need to move this onto the text. We need to move this object onto the text layer by dragging it, same as Illustrator. we're going to lock our image layer and come back to pages, and we're going to come back to that master B. Now, if you left click the master page, you can apply master to pages, and we're going to say 2 to 10, page 2 to 10. Click OK. So when we come out of our master by double clicking on our pages, you can see that it's that text has appeared on every single layer except the first, because we said from pages 2 to 10. Now, to make this object here a special character, which is going to be a page number, we simply need to come to type, insert a special character, markers, and current page number. That's the shortcut if you bother to remember it. And there you can see a B has just been displayed, which represents that it's on B master. And now you can see that B master has applied to all of those pages. But master A is also retained on those pages because we based each master on A, and we based C on B, and we based D on C. That's how it works. So come back to your pages. Now we have our page numbers, 2, 3, but we don't have on our first, which is what we want. And now we're going to make a header for each page. So we're going to come to our master page again, page header. I have one prepared from another document that I'm just going to copy and paste across. So I'm just going to go Command C. You will have to create a new one. And a nice little command in InDesign that will save you a lot of time is paste in place, which is Shift Command V on a Mac. When you first open InDesign, it will give you the options to use the shortcut tools from Photoshop, and I recommend that you do. You can use them from Illustrator, but if you're more familiar with Photoshop, then it makes sense to use the Photoshop shortcuts. If you are having trouble with shortcut presets, you can open shortcuts. How do you open shortcuts? All right, there we go. So the shortcut for the shortcut toolbar is on a Mac, Shift, Alt, Command, K. And then you'll see the shortcut manager appear. And you can say in this option whether you want to use Adobe Photoshop shortcuts or you can import lots of different options. There's different options for different countries. I just use Adobe Photoshop shortcuts. So just a quick thing to show you. You can also add new sets by importing them, but don't worry about that. Okay, we segued off a little bit onto shortcuts, but right, so we've now got a page header that will appear on every page as long as we ask it to. Apply master pages, and we're going to apply this one actually to all of them, 1 to 10. Okay. So when I come back to my overall page structure, I've now got this little page header, my numbers, my image frame. So it's beginning to take shape, the document. If you want to full screen InDesign, then just hit F on your keyboard and you can see a preview of what your page would look like. Okay. So now we do see a page number on our first page because, get this, we based page C in the masters on page B. So it will now appear So now page B items will now appear on all the pages. To override master pages, so we want to free up the first page because we want this to be a customizable page. We don't want it to be because we can't edit anything that's set as a master. So I want to free everything from master pages just on the first page. So I come to that first page in my previewer, my page previewer, and this scroll option. It's more helpful to have this expanded. I'm going to left click it, and then I'm going to say override all master page items. Alt Shift Command L. So Alt with that page selected, Alt Shift Command L. And now those objects just on that one page have become editable. So I can now delete certain things, and I can also delete that page number that we don't want because it's our first front cover page. But all the others have remained uneditable and in the correct place, so that's what we want. Okay. We'll add one more master, but later, because we don't know what we want to apply to those pages, so we'll leave that for now. The first page I'm going to import is my front cover. So shortcut for place or import is Command D. So that's File, Place, but quicker to write Command D. And now, if you've ordered all of your layers, if you've ordered all of your folders efficiently and you know exactly where things are, I can quickly come to my media folder, come to images, and I know that I want my front cover, so I'm just going to click on front cover. I'm going to say open or enter, and just click on the page that I want it to appear on. Yeah, so in your layers, just as well, make sure that you now lock text and that you're working on image. And now it will snap to that text, to that image frame that we created on master page A. That's super helpful function. That really, it means you can import multiple objects and just drag and just click where you want them to appear. Let's just full screen that a moment. So we can see that there's a bit of an error because the frame of this takes a bit of foreplanning and a bit of foreknowledge, but the frame that I set in Vectorworks is only 10 millimeters, and I've made my title header frame 15 millimeters. So actually now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crop this page. To crop, so you have, like in Vectorworks, you have a crop. So you have a crop view, and then if you double click, it then goes to the media view. So this actually, you can resize your media, and if you double click, it turns blue, you can resize your crop. You can also do that by hitting the center of this icon here, and that changes between crop, which is blue, and resize, rescale, which is red. But for now, we just want to recrop. So make sure you've got the blue. Make sure you've got the blue showing on that page. And I'm going to crop it to the 15 millimeter margin that we made for that page. Okay, so now when I full screen it, I've no longer got overlapping lines from this front cover page. To escape, to come out of full view, you just either press F again or escape. Now I want to make a little title, but this won't be, which is going to be on our text layer. So let's come back to our text layer. And I don't want it to be attached to any master page. I just want to make a quick text box that's only going to appear on one page. I'm going to steal it from a previous document that I made, which I actually sent you as a PDF. I think you all got that. So I'm going to copy and paste this item, this item, this item, and this item. And while working on my image, my text layer, I'm just going to paste that in place. Remember, Shift-Command-V for paste in place. And now I can see that that text item has appeared in exactly the place that it was in the previous document. I'm just going to move this to our new page margin. So let's see how that's looking if I full screen. Yep, that works. So I've got the, you should also label your document with title of the course, Gestaltung, Darstellung, digital, Bachelor Landschaftsarchitektur, summer semester 2018, and you'll have a title, Schlesisches Tor, course, Gestaltung, Darstellung, digital, name, your personal name, your matriculation number, your registration number, and the date. The date that you created this document, and for some of you, it will either be today or tomorrow, because Wednesday is the final hand-in. So this has come a little late. I do apologize. That's just the way that things have happened. But we'll make the most of what we do with the time. Right. Okay. So just go through. I've now explained pretty much all the functions you'll need in InDesign to create your full document. So I'll go through and complete this document roughly, maybe not to the end because it's going to take too long for the tutorial. Think about your titles for each page. I think that what I'll do is copy paste across from this previous document into this new one. I always like to use the preview quite often to see how things are looking. Okay, so maybe on your first page you can have model photographs and plan measurements. Here I don't actually want a full screen. I don't want a full view of that page, so I might just create a new object frame on my image layer. Oh, it's because it's locked. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to just place my images of model photos. Preview and Mac is spacebar, if you didn't already know. It's quite useful. Yep, that's the one. Enter. It will appear within that text frame. And then some text explaining what that page is about. So, description, copy and paste that across, Shift-Command-V, I want to move that to my text layer, providing that nothing is locked now. Only lock if you know you're going to be working on a specific layer for a long period of time. Like if I'm working on my text layer and I don't want to, by accident, move an image, just keep that image layer locked. I'm going to leave it unlocked for now. Just going to align bit of text, so if I full screen, yeah, it's looking okay. Could think about certain other. I like to keep everything snapped to the edge of my page frame, but you know, maybe also it's sometimes nice to have the description aligned and close to the image. So if you full screen, yeah, probably looks a bit nicer, in fact. Yeah, third page. All these first two pages are just not really attached to any master page because we don't really want to repeat any information apart from the page numbering. Apart from the page numbering in this header. paste that in place. You can also just simply copy across photos from previous InDesign documents and paste them in place. So Command C from an old document and paste in place. Shift Command V. They've now appeared on the text layer. I want them to be on image. Could also copy and paste across that text layer, paste it in place, and yeah, just work through your document. I mean, in this case, you can see you probably want to make this image align with these images at the bottom. So then you can keep the text in the same position, both top and bottom. So you could think about dragging that onto those, rescaling to roughly match the width of those images, and then rescale your image, and then Command X to cut, and then paste in place. So now if I go between these two pages, full size them, we've got sort of image and text that's aligning through every page. So paste in place is really useful for that. So I've actually just decided to reformat these pages. Yeah, they're okay. I sometimes like to have a bit of a space between at the top, but you could think about shifting things around so you have more space at the bottom. I think it looks better. So you give more breathing space at the top here. So once you go through every page, creating titles on the correct layer. So I'm just going to copy and paste across all the text objects from each page in one go. Be nice and consistent. Do the images first and then your text, I would recommend. I'm only copying and pasting across to show you will be doing this from scratch. The other thing you could do is Command A, which would select all text objects on that page and not the image, because image, you're not working on that layer. You could also lock out image and then it won't copy across any images. You have to click the page that you want to copy and paste onto first to make it appear on that page. Okay. And then try and create a sort of... so here's an important thing. The reason you've got to keep all your images to scale, okay? So that means that you need to snap. You've exported them from Photoshop or from Vectorworks as A3 JPEGs or PDFs. PDFs from Vectorworks and JPEGs from Photoshop. And you want to snap them to exactly the frame of the page. Otherwise, you're going to end up rescaling your page slightly smaller or bigger. We don't want that. So if we go on Command, we'll come now to the image layer because we want to work on the image layer. and I say Command D to place, I can place my model photo, my plan at 1 to 1, which is this object here. Open, place it, and now it's snapped to the page. I can come to isometric, Command D, ISO. I've named them all as well, so it should be easy, really easy to find everything. This is, oh, we missed our sections. Just this tour plan. Now we're back. Now it's 1 to 200, so put that in the 1 to 200 folder. So it can be very quick to lay out if you have all your master pages and layers set up correctly. Oh, I decided to put sectional elevation first and section after, so I can just do it the other way around. You don't even have to do each image individually. You can say Command D, select them all, and then just come and paste. As long as they're in order, you can paste them. Well, it's because there's another object on that page, but if there's not another object on that page, you can just come bang, 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 and it'll appear on each page in the correct place. But I'm doing them individually just to show you and to keep the order correct. I've got one more. I think somehow my page ordering, copying and pasting across got things messed up a little bit. Yeah, I've got two sections where I should probably have an ISO at the end. Is that right? Yeah. So I'm just going to copy and paste that across. Get rid of this. I've locked that layer, of course. Oh. And final image to paste is ISO onto my image layer. Right, so there we go. Layout pretty much complete. We can preview by selecting F, flicking through the pages with your up-down arrow keys. And I have front cover with title, model photographs, plan measurements, description, where I should align that description to the top of that. Should have snapping tools on, so it will snap to the top of that page. If you don't, then I think it's in Tools or Window. You'll have to look at that, or View, or even just turn them on. And there's one thing that I want to add, which is another title master page. So at the top of each, I want to distinguish my pages between micro and macro scale. And to do that, I'm going to apply master pages to the micro scale pages, and then I'm going to apply another master to the macro pages, and then we're going to get this other little title that appears in this corner. So to do that, I'm simply going to come to my page title. I'm going to rename it. I'm going to rename this one Phase 1. Make another one based on phase. Now I want phase 1 based on C page header. Alternatively, what I could do is just simply create a text object and then just copy and paste it onto the pages that I need it on, which actually, to be honest, will be slightly easier. Let's just do that, just for the sake of ease. So I'm just going to copy this header from my master page C header into the page that I want it to apply to, which will be the first page, not the title page. Paste in place. Paste in place. It's not working. Don't know why. Oh, yeah, of course, it's pasting over here. Paste in place, and then I'm going to drag that text frame from our previous header across to this side and align it with the edge of this border. And then I'm going to reformat the text. I want it to be on this side. To reformat it into the middle, I would use this one, and to reformat it to the right-hand side, you use different align structures. So I want that to appear on phase 1. We're going to call it, I think it's a little preview. Just copy and paste that across. So this is phase 1. I'm going to copy and paste that onto all my phase 1 pages, making sure it's on my text layer. Phase 1. Phase 1. Phase 1. Oh, it's now copied and pasted onto the text layer. So I need to make sure that I lock off the image layer. Has it done it on all of them? Yes. So make sure that you lock it onto layers, turn off images, Command C. So now it should paste, onto correct layer, text layer. And now we have, I'm going to copy and paste it onto my macro, but you can see it's interfering. So I could edit the crop of this image by coming to the image, cropping it out to the border frame that I created. Means we lose some of our image, but the scale remains the same. We just change the crop on it. Also means that I lose my title block a little. You need to prepare and plan how you organize your title block in relation to your layout in InDesign a little bit. That's a good point to make. So now I've got, and I think it would also be nice if I cropped out the titles. So when you full screen it, you just see the image and the title isn't on top of the image. So that's another thing you could think about doing in your layout. And also we need to rename, this is now phase 2. Macro scale 1 to 200. So copy and paste onto all of our preceding layers. But it's gone onto the wrong layer. Making sure that we always paste onto the text layer for text. That's how we've organized everything. And just crop. I'm going to crop my images out accordingly to the frame. Like so. do that for all of these pages. Means we lose some of the image, but I think it's nicer to have a well-cropped image and a bit less of the image than overlapping image and text, which is just generally bad practice. And I think, yeah, we could probably even do that for these because I have a line from Vectorworks. I can also crop out that educational version of Vectorworks, so we no longer see that. That's also probably a good thing to do. Looks more professional, of course. So now we can just preview. Yeah, let's crop this even further. I don't mind the text overlapping on this part of the image because it's quite a white image, but I just want to crop that out from our title. To preview our pages, it's F, and we're just going to flick through. So we have our title and we have our phase scale, our phase and our scale in the left header, and then we have the Institute for Landschaftsarchitektur und Umweltplanung, TU Berlin, and my name on every page. I think that's a nice detail to add. Phase 1, plan, sections, isometric, Schlesisches plan. Yeah, you can see that that object should be on the plan, so that's why it's good to preview your pages before printing. Okay, so I'm happy enough with this layout. I'm now going to export it as a PDF, high-resolution PDF. Shortcut for export is Command E. And I'm going to make another folder in my layers, in my folder structure, in Lesson 10. I already have one. It's called PDF, but I'm going to make a subfolder with today's date. Always have a folder with the day's date and the data because you lose track very quickly of yeah. It's retain the title, Adobe PDF print. That's what we want, not interactive print. Save. I'll bring you to these export options. I always use Acrobat 5, works very well. Export as pages, all. You could export as spreads if you had the spreads option available to you, but we're working as pages. We want to view PDF after exporting. Visible and print layers, that's not really that important. And open full screen mode, I think we want that on. So there we go. Now export. Oh, just standard non, high quality print. I've modified it, that's why it's saying modified. But just select high quality print. Viewing, actual size, layout. Default, export. There's overset text. Sometimes it will say this, and it's due to the fact that I've made a text box, and perhaps in the text box there's been some space bars or some enters that have continued, and that means that it's saying there's overset text. I'm going to ignore that warning, just click OK, because I know it's going to work. And you can see that it's now exporting with this background, in this background task icon, and it should appear immediately after it's created the document. It's trying to put Acrobat in full screen mode, which takes over your screen. It's because I selected the option full screen, view in full screen. It's probably a bit annoying, that option. You don't have to select that. But here we go. Here's the document, high resolution PDF exported, all of our titles and headers are there with all of our images. So there we go. There it is. That's how to create an InDesign document for this module. I hope you found these tutorials helpful to you. And if you think it's a good way of learning, please give me feedback. And I'll try and keep them as short as possible. I'm going into detail quite often because I think it's important you're learning. Good luck for Wednesday. Hope you managed to get everything bookleted and printed. Note to make about printing. When you come to your print options, make sure you print double-sided in your printer. And make sure that you bind, I think you'll have printing options available to you. You should be able to work this out for yourselves. Size poster, multiple booklets. Side home, back side home. No, that's... I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere. Let's print both sides. You will find that yourselves. Print both double-sided documents, so it's a booklet, and bind on the left-hand side with a ring binder. I think that would be the best option. You could use a slide-on binder. That's also another option. I think ring binder looks nicer and opens better. So, okay, I'm going to leave this tutorial here and enjoy. See you on Wednesday. Good luck. Bis dann.